We want to dedicate this class to Ro'i Rafael Ben Gila. Should have immediate recovery and refuah shlema. And tomorrow, Bezrat Hashem, is Pesach Sheni. And, excuse me? Tonight, right? Tonight, yes. Tonight and tomorrow is Pesach Sheni. And we want to talk a little bit about what it means. And not less important to mention that tonight is also the Hilula, the Yahrzeit of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. And although there is some opinions that say that tonight is not really his Hilula, just that the sages wanted his day of passing, or the commemorating of the day, will be close to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, who was a good friend of his, and they were both students of Rabbi Akiva. Then they made it close to Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai's Hilula. But nevertheless, this is when we commemorate the day of the passing of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, who's a very, very special sage. We're not going to learn today about him, but just that you know, another good reason to celebrate. But we're celebrating the day that is called Pesach Sheni, a second Pesach, which in itself arouse a very big question. What's so different about Pesach that it has a second one? Why don't we have a Pesach, a Sukkot Sheni? And why don't we have a Chanukah Sheni? Why this holiday has to get a second chance? So, first of all, the simple explanation of Pesach Sheni, as it says in the Torah, that whoever was impure at the time when they had to sacrifice the sacrifice of Pesach, or they were far away on a journey, and they couldn't do the sacrifice. This is called Korban Pesach, the sacrifice of Pesach, which is a very serious sacrifice. That it's so serious that if Chas v'Shalom somebody does not do this sacrifice, this is one of the kretot, one of the 36 sins in the Torah, that the severity of it falls under the category of karet. So in kretot you have 36, 34 are negative, 2 are positive. The 2 that are positive is circumcision. It's a positive mitzvah that if a person doesn't do circumcising the child, is basically mevatel mitzvat aseh, is not doing a positive mitzvah, but the severity of it is so serious that the result will be karet. Karet means when the soul gets chopped off. The second one is Korban Pesach, is the sacrifice of Pesach. All the rest of the 34 are negative. Eating chametz on Pesach, eating on Yom Kippur, desecrating Shabbat, all the forbidden relations, eating from the holy sacrifices, kochim, doing things like seance and alat ov and all that. These are the sins that cover in the kretot. But Korban Pesach, the sacrifice of Pesach, is a positive mitzvah, and it's a serious, serious mitzvah. To a point that the Torah comes and says, if you miss the opportunity by being impure, at the time, if a person had leprosy, then he couldn't give the korban. Or if somebody was out on the road, he was on a journey, so the Torah comes and says, okay, we'll give you a second chance. This is the general idea of Pesach Sheni. And that's one of the reasons why all the other holidays don't have a second chance. Because there's no such a mitzvah that if you didn't reach home to light Chanukah candles, then you need to light it again. You missed it, that's it. It's not such it's a good mitzvah, it's a beautiful mitzvah. It's not a mitzvah from the Torah, and it's definitely not a mitzvah that Chas v'Shalom, if I fail, then the severity is karet. Same with the sukkah, even though it's a mitzvah taseh, but the severity, if I don't do it, is not that severe. Here it says in the Torah that a group of people came to Moshe Rabbeinu, and they said, hey, that's not fair. We didn't get to do this mitzvah. I was impure, I was away on the road, I wasn't in the state of mind of doing it, that's not fair. So when Moshe Rabbeinu went to consult the Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, okay, give them a next chance. That's it. So the basic explanation of Pesach Sheni is coming to affirm to us that there's always a second chance. Hashem is always accepting us when we regret what we did, and He's accepting our tshuva. This is quoting a pasuk from the book of Shmuel, that he says, the prophet says, "V'lo yidach mimeno nidach," that Hashem is not going to leave anybody behind. He's going to give you enough opportunities to do what you need to do. And Pesach Sheni comes to signify that there's always a second chance. Hashem was always going to accept my apology. He's always going to accept my tshuva. Just do an action. So this is a general idea of Pesach Sheni, which in itself is a very deep concept to understand, that I messed up. No problem, nothing happened. Hitnari ma'afar kumi. We read that every Friday on Lecha Dodi, that we read on the fourth verse of the psalm, we read Hitnari ma'afar kumi, meaning that get up, brush off all the dirt, and move on. Nothing happened, so you failed, big deal. Most people, if they chas v'shalom fail, it can cause them to fall into depression or sadness, or they fall into despair. That's it, I messed up, I can't do it anymore. I lost it, so to say. So the entire holidays comes to teach me, no, nothing happened. As Rabbi Nachman from Breslev says, En Yehush Ba'olam, why are you falling into despair? Nothing happened. It's the Yetzer Hara that creates the situation for you to think that you messed up. Really, sometimes the bad actions that I do, or if I do sins, or if I do all sorts of things, the Yetzer Hara will come and present it like if I'm a lost case. Or will come and tell me, look at you, you're a loser. You look at the sin you just did. Why are you pretending? Look what you did yesterday. You have the chutzpah to show up in the shul this morning. The Yetzer Hara is going to ride on the wave and start presenting the situation and distort the situation. Or I will come to do a certain mitzvah and the Yetzer Hara is going to tell me, what are you pretending? Well, you're so fake. Yesterday you did this and that. The day before you lied. The day before you said Lashon Hara. Now you're pretending to be so religious. Don't pretend to be religious. But that's just the Yetzer Hara coming to present a situation to make me feel like I'm a failure. Sometimes the process of me achieving something is to fail many times. And that's something we don't understand. And you gave last week a beautiful analogy. Karen, you gave an analogy with a bus going backwards and forth. There's another bus, by the way. And I'm going to have to share with you Karen's analogy is that we have a very sharp curve here. And the buses all the time get stuck here, especially now with the scaffolding of this building. Sometimes they get stuck here for an hour. And they go back, forward. This guy, look at him. He bumped into the wall already. I'm with one eye. One eye I'm looking at you, one eye I'm looking at if he's going to do damages to my wall. He's going backwards and forth already 20 times. Probably 50 times. Karen gave a beautiful analogy that sometimes in order to go through a tight or narrow path, you have to go back, forward, back, forward, till you align yourself to be able to go through. Sometimes the bad acts that we do, the sins, the bad thoughts, whatever it is, that's part of the plan. I have to go through it. Take an example now, look at this wall. We're covering the wall now with bricks. You see what the guy did? He made holes in the walls. Those holes were not there. These holes are in order to put the glue, he made only the first level. But now he's going to come today. I told him not to disturb us during the class. He's going to come later and continue it. But in order for the glue to grab good, he had to chop these holes in the walls. He came and started banging the wall. I was like, what are you doing? I told you to fix the wall. Why are you breaking the wall? He's like, no, the glue has to grab real good, so I have to make holes. Now the glue is going to grab the wall real good. Now I can put the tiles. So in essence, one might say, you just damaged my wall. I paid you now a lot of money to fix the wall, not to damage the wall. And he says, listen, don't show a Jew a halfway job. You have to wait till the end. That's the process. And in order for it to fix something, you have to damage a little bit before. A very extreme example, look at a root canal. Person, chas v'shalom, has a root canal. I don't wish it to anyone. And the doctor has to shave your tooth. and he drills in the tooth. He has to ruin the tooth to get to the root. And then he has to drill in the root. And then he has to pull all the nerves out of it. I'm not going to go into descriptions here. But look how much destruction the dentist has to do to get to the root of the tooth to pull this microscopic nerve that causes all the problems. And then he has to seal it all, and then he crowns it, and then he fixes everything, and it all looks good. This comes to teach us something very simple in creation, that sometimes in order to fix, you have to damage. You have to create a certain damage. It looks on the surface like a damage, but it's not. It's part of the process. And this is a perfect example. Maybe we should later on take a picture of it for the viewers to see. This is a perfect example. Go to the other room in the back. We're fixing one of the walls. The whole wall is broken down. And again, same idea. In order to fix, you have to make some type of a problem, a blemish. So a lot of the times, we will be pushed, so to say, to do a sin. And you like, I didn't want to get into this situation. How many times you've been pushed into a situation? Now you have to say Lashon Hara, or lie, or you go into an argument, and you're like, I don't want to be in this argument. Why is this person pulling me into the argument right now? So sometimes I'm being pushed to do certain things. Not too long ago, somebody texted me, and he told me, listen, I couldn't text you when it actually happened, but I was driving to a Shabbat meal in Manhattan, and I left Queens, and there was so much traffic, I got stuck on the way. And now, what should I do? I'm on the bridge. Should I leave the car on the bridge? I can't leave the car on the bridge. And he's like, I didn't know what to do. He asked me after the fact. But I told him, first of all, you know, how long before Shabbat did you leave? He's like, 3 hours. I mean, this is like a 45-minute drive. I went 3 hours in advance. So I said, okay, this is a perfect example for you to see that you did everything in your power. But the Hashgacha Pratit caused you to get stuck on a bridge on Shabbat. So you had to desecrate Shabbat. So first of all, don't be so hard on yourself, because it's not in your hands. It wasn't in your control. You didn't say, now I'm going to deliberately desecrate Shabbat. You did everything in your power to leave early, and you just got stuck in traffic. So the point to take from that sometimes the Kadosh Baruch Hu puts me in situations. He will put me in a situation that will cause me to sin. Now the Yetzer Hara will jump on the opportunity right away and be like, oh, see, you're a wicked person, you just sinned, don't pretend to be so religious. Now you can let everything go. You did one little thing, now, okay, you already did a little sin, okay, so you can eat in McDonald's, and you can do this and this right now. You already sinned anyways. I already got dirty, let me get dirty all the way. But that's just the illusion that the Yetzer Hara comes. The point is that sometimes I'm forced to sin. That's the divine plan. And it's in order for me to climb up. It's in either for me to see something. Sometimes in order to see where I'm holding, I have to be placed in a very low place to realize where I am. And to realize that I have to change. So the whole concept of Pesach Sheni is to come to teach me that there's never a lost case. I can always try again. And I can always fix what I damaged. Now, this is the general idea of Pesach Sheni, but that's already been taught and it was explained. I want to touch something different, is that Nisan and Iyar, Nisan is when Pesach, the first Pesach is, and the second Pesach is in Iyar. So we see already from that we, so to say, celebrating two Pesachs, but one of them is coming from the side of Nisan, which is controlled by the attribute of Chesed, and the other Nisan, and the other Pesach, the Pesach Sheni, is coming in Iyar, which that is being controlled by the attribute of Gvura. So I have two motions. You see how many backwards and forth he's going? He has a big tikkun, this driver. So you never know. Maybe he'll shave a piece. You know, the building on the other side has a lot of scars, mirrors, air conditioners, windows. Just look at the window on the right side. The building where things Already half of the foot was shaved off the building.
The passengers are experiencing now. This is really incredible.
So, see, this is the Hashgacha Pratit who comes and tells us that sometimes in life you're stuck. Sometimes in life you will be stuck. Like this bus that is stuck there right now. This is not the only one. It's not that he's a bad driver. Every driver, depending on the length of the bus, of course. But, you know, in the old city you see it a lot, but here especially. But look, see how Hashem works. We're talking about Pesach Sheni, we're talking about second chances, and Hashem is giving us right in front of us an analogy to understand that sometime in life you're stuck. Doesn't matter how many times you'll go backwards and forth, you are stuck. And you're going to be stuck there. Till Hashem decides that you're out of being stuck. All He requires from you is the backwards and forth and the backwards and forth. It seems like He's going to make it now. Look how Hashem is teaching us. You know, this is a sign, by the way, that you learn the Torah Lishma. If you ever heard of the term, that you have to learn Torah for its sake. And a lot of people ask me, what does it mean to lilmod Torah Lishma? To learn the Torah for its sake. When you see live an example of what you learn, it means that you're learning the Torah of Lishma. That Hashem is showing you what you're learning right in front of your face. So we're in a very good place. It means that our learning is in a very high level, that Hashem says, here, what you're learning, I'm showing it to you live in front of you. So you can apply the learning into our physical life. So our life runs into situations that I'm stuck. That I'm stuck in a narrow path and I can't go through. Now I fall into depression, I fall into despair, I give up, I get angry, I get frustrated, but Hashem is telling me, what are you talking about? I put you in this narrow path right now. Just go backwards and forth and backwards and forth. That's it. That's the name of the game. So same thing with Pesach Sheni. I have the same idea, is the Pesach, and then backwards and forth. The backwards and forth. And I have, here's another one. Good luck. We should stand there and sell tickets. So the first Pesach comes in Nisan. Nisan is in the control of the Midah of Chesed. And the next Pesach comes in the month of Iyar, which is controlled by the Midah of Gvura. Which in the months of Nisan there was a lot of Chesed, so they were able to go out of their slavery. Like that. This is kindness. Hashem just pulled them out. In the month of Iyar, we are required to apply the gvura, the severity, the where we cut the separation. And I'll tell you what I mean. The reason why on Pesach Sheni the people were not able to sacrifice is either they were far away on a journey or they were impure. Now it's referring to an impurity that we call it a tumat met. They had a certain impurity. They could not perform the mitzvah. Now, what does it mean, the impurity of death? Tumat met. Right now, we all have this impurity of death, of tumat met. The baby just comes out to the world. The doctor touches the baby. Right away, tumat met. We all have this tuma on us, this impurity. It will only be changed. Very soon, Mashiach is going to come. The first sacrifice Mashiach is going to have to do is going to be the red heifer. He's going to take the red heifer. The mitzvah is to burn it to ashes. You take the ashes, you mix it in a certain amount of water, and you sprinkle the water on whoever has tumat met, the impurity of death, and then that's it. No tumat met anymore. So very soon Mashiach is going to come, and that's the prophets. Isaiah says, Yeshaya, "V'truach hatuma avir min haaretz." That Mashiach is going to be able to remove the power of impurity from the world. Suddenly we're all going to wake up. We're going to start hugging each other. We're going to start apologizing to each other. Oh, I love you so much. I'm sorry that I talk Lashon Hara about you all the time. And therefore, there's not going to be any more death. There's not going to be any more impurity. There's not going to be any more anger and despair. That's why we're waiting for Mashiach to come already. But till then, we are in a state of impurity, which is considered the worst type of impurity, tumat met, because we touched a dead body. And tumat met can be moved by touching, by negiyah. That's it. Just touch and that's it. So since we don't have Bet HaMikdash for close to 2,000 years, then we don't have a red heifer, we don't have the water that can be sprinkled by a priest, so we're all in chizkat tumat met. That's it. That's why we have a Yetzer Hara from here till Chicago. That's why we have all these te'avot. That's why we have all these desires that are forbidden. That's why we find it hard to serve Hashem. It's not our fault. So this tumat met is the most severest impurity. There are many types of impurities. It can be tumat nida, when a woman has her cycle, she has an impurity. Doesn't mean she's dirty. She means a certain spiritual impurity, a certain spiritual state. The woman goes to the mikveh, that's it. No more tumat nida. There's all sorts of different types of tumot, of impurity. But the severe one is called tumat met. Besides that, I can get it just by being touched by somebody who was in the presence of a dead body. But how do I fall into this level of impurity? Is when I feed the klipot with my sins. If I now lied, then I fed my kedusha, my holiness, I gave it to the klipa. That's why the klipa is called mavet. Ubala oto mavet. The klipa is called mavet. Why? Because it's pulling me in to a place of impurity. I now do a certain negative act. I lie, I cheat, I do anything in that respect, or I don't do a certain mitzvah, or I do a severe sin, then I will fall into the klipa till I do tshuva. Now my chayut, my life force, is in the klipa, is controlled by the klipa. The klipa is the opposition of holiness. It's compared to a husk, to a negative energy that's controlling now my chayut. It's holding my money, so to say. It's like in the real world, if you owe money to a certain government office or to another bank, they possess your money. They do a levy on your money. They take your money. They go into your bank account and put a lien on your money. This is the same idea. It's your money. Pay your debt, we'll give it back to you. Same here. I do a sin, I take my chayut, my godly life, and I give it to the klipa. Now it's in the possession of somebody else till I do tshuva. I do tshuva, I'll get it back. But till then, I'm pulled into the klipa, I'm considered dead. This is this tum'ah, this impurity. Now, Pesach Sheni is the time that allows me not to be dead, spiritually. Because I can be very religious. We spoke about it in the class before, that I can perform mitzvahs all day long, and I can be 3 times a day in the synagogue and have a long beard and put tefillin on me and learn Torah and do all the mitzvot. But then I lie. So I go out into the world and I lie to somebody. In one shot, all my mitzvot, they get sunk into a domain that doesn't belong to me. One lie. You're not allowed to lie. It's a sin to lie. Or I said Lashon Hara. I'm talking about basic things that we do every day. I'm not talking about now bowing to an idol. I'm talking about a basic thing. I go and lie. This is a severe sin. You're not allowed to lie. You're not allowed to cheat. You're not allowed to steal. And we do gezel every day. We're failing in gezel just because we don't know what it means, gezel. Gezel means that you take something that doesn't belong to you without permission. It's not stealing. Stealing is coming at night when nobody noticed, and you sneak into the house and you take something out. This is stealing. Or many other ways. Gezel is that you're taking something from somebody that doesn't belong to you, and without their permission and without their knowledge that you took it from them. And we're failing in gezel a lot. We spoke about it in one of the previous classes. You go now into a restaurant and you take those little bags of ketchup that don't belong to you. This is gezel. It's not yours. When you're eating in the restaurant and you ordered your french fries and they give you the ketchup, you can use it. But you're not allowed to go to the counter, put your hand into the ketchups and go away and to say in 3 days, I need to have a ketchup. This is gezel. Not too long ago, if you see behind you the station with the tea, not too long ago I'm sitting here, somebody comes with 2 hands like that, takes maybe 40 bags of tea and he goes. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, no, for me to have. I told him, not that I care, you can take 50, but this is gezel. Because this is here for you to come and make a cup of tea, not to pack up to have tea for the next 2 weeks. This is gezel because you didn't steal from me, you did it in front of my face. But it's not there for you to stack up on your tea. This is here for you to come. You want to drink 50 cups of tea a day? You can sit on the pot if you want and drink tea all day long. This is it for you. But you can't come and stack up your home with bags of teas. Not that I mind. I was telling him, I'm caring about you. You, this is gezel. That you take something doesn't belong to you, and it's not for the cause of where you are. Sometimes, the pizza store where they give you pizza, and they put on the pizza all the toppings or whatever, and they give it to you. That's not gezel. To walk into the store and start picking. There was a lady here, if you remember her chaya, that she said that she once stopped in a 7-Eleven and she bought drinks, but she knew on their picnic they're going to have hot dogs and she needed ketchup, and she took from the 7-Eleven the bags of ketchup. Told her, that's gezel. Because you were planning on something, it's 2 days later. The fact that if you bought a drink there, you're allowed to take a straw. You're allowed to take a cup. You can't take 50 cups. If you ask, and the owner tells you, bevakasha, go and take, then you asked. But in most cases, the person in the counter is not the owner. He can't tell you. He can't tell you, take whatever you want. He's an employee. But if you ask the owner and you told him, can I take some napkins? Yeah. Somebody asked me not too long ago, you go to a hotel. In the hotel, they put shampoos. Now, if I'm taking all these shampoos, is that gezel? Now, if you're in the hotel and you paid for the room and you're taking a shower, you can use 500 of them, it's not gezel, you're in the hotel. But to take from the trolley, how the room service, they have the trolley, you can't take from that and go home. That's gezel. Now, if you went to the lobby and you told them, can I take a few shampoos home? I love that shampoo. And they tell you yes, then they give you permission. But you can't go like this and say, oh, wow, I paid them $500 for my stay. The shampoo cost $1. Doesn't matter if it costs a cent. So we're totally sidetracked, but gezel is a very severe thing. And it's important to learn all about it because we fail in gezel a lot. Gezel is a very severe sin. We're not to do gezel. So we constantly fail in very random things that we don't even notice. Here a lie, here we cheat, here lashon hara, here we slander somebody, here we take something. So I'm not blaming anybody, and I'm not judging anyone. I'm just stating that we are human, and we do all sorts of things that are not 100% kosher. What it does is it takes my chayut, my life force, and puts it into the klippah. That's it. Now I have to redeem it. I have to take it out. As long as it's in the klippah, I'm considered spiritually dead, in a death level. Pesach Sheni is the time that I'm able to reverse it, to reverse the state, not to be dead anymore, to be alive. First Pesach, it took me out of slavery, out of my limitation into freedom. The second Pesach comes to change the state of where I am. So Pesach Sheni is a very powerful time, even though we're not required to do anything. We eat matzah tonight. Some people read some pieces of the Haggadah. That's it. That's what we do. We don't do a big celebration. But this is the time that we need to focus on that. Now, what will really cause me to fall into that level? We know that it says that a person sins only because a ruach shtut comes into him. It's not our fault. That a spirit of foolishness possessed me for 1 second, it caused me to sin. Basically, we're shaking all responsibility off us. It wasn't me. A foolish spirit came into my mind and caused me to sin. But we're not trying to blame anybody. We're trying to find solutions. And the reason why I will fall into such a place is from one motion that I do. And it's that I'm not being loyal to myself. When I'm not being loyal to myself, then I will fall into that level. And being loyal to myself means to lie to myself, to be honest with myself, to be straightforward. I mean, it's one thing that you lie to somebody else. That's prohibited. But we lie to ourselves all the time. I make up all sorts of excuses. And when a person lies to themselves, then they put themselves in that place that I'm not loyal to myself. If I lie to you, if you're my partner right now, and I lie to you, I'm not loyal to you. If I lie to my wife, and she told me to do something, and I told her whatever excuse, I'm not loyal to her. Basically, when I lie to somebody, I'm not loyal to him. And lying is a very severe thing, and unfortunately people don't take the concept of lying seriously. And I keep repeating it in many different lectures, how severe it is, the fact of lying. And if one wants to work on at least one good midah on them, is to work on the midah that is called emet, being truthful. And it's not easy. I know there are many situations people say, listen, I have to say a lie. You don't have to. There's no such a thing. It doesn't say in the Torah that you have to say a lie. You are permitted to say a lie when it's a time of pikuach nefesh, that somebody can chas v'shalom die. You're allowed to say a lie. Allah also permits you to a little bit distort the reality when it comes to shlom bayit. So you're allowed to a little bit bend the ends. But in most cases, it's just not say something, just prevent from saying, not to invent a lie. Lying is very, very bad, and people who lie to themselves all the time, eventually they lie to everybody around them. And I know people don't like being rebuked too much, but I constantly say when a person is very focused on the midah of emet, of truth, then he's called a ish emet. It says Moshe emet v'torato emet. That's what it's talking about. It's talking about Hashem, the Kadosh Baruch Hu is emet. It's all about truth. It's nothing but the truth. If you work on yourself, that every word that comes out of your mouth is truth, yes, sometimes it's not going to be the best situation. Somebody gives you something to eat and tells you, how's the food? So what are you going to say? It's horrible. So sometimes it's better to say, I don't like it. Just finish. Excuse me? For shalom bayit you can lie, but again, it's... yeah, but again, you, when it says you're allowed to lie for shalom, is you miss a detail. You don't start coming and developing lies. There's a very big difference between not talking or saying something that is, how's the soup? Instead of saying it's disgusting, says, Baruch Hashem, the chicken is very good. Whatever it is. The point is, when it comes to shalom, you're allowed to manipulate a little thing, to change a little thing, and in some extreme situation, maybe withhold the truth. But to start developing lies, that's a different problem already. So, Bechlal, in general, any person needs to work on their midah of emet. When a person constantly is running after the truth, then by default his entire actions are pure. I told you so many times that at one time, many years ago, I came back on Yom Kippur after a day of fasting. The whole day I wasn't home. There's no point of coming home from the shul. There's nothing going on at home. So after 24 hours I come home, the kids go to sleep, and my wife and me are sitting and having a nice cup of tea. And then I tell her, what's your hachlata? What's your resolution for the year? And she says, I decided this, I decided that. And then she told me, what's your resolution? What's your hachlata? And I said, I decided not to lie anymore. And she was very surprised. She was like, you? You don't lie? And I told her, I do. I lie all the time. I lie to you, I lie to you, I lie to Hashem, and I lie to myself. And she couldn't understand what I'm talking about. And I told her, listen, if I say that I don't lie, then I'm lying. So I decided not to lie anymore. Because if I say, oh, I don't lie, you're a liar. You do lie. You just lied today, and you lied yesterday, and you lied the day before. So there are different levels in lying. You know that exaggerating is lying. So you come and tell a story and you want to sound like a hero and you add a few details, that's lying. According to halakha, that's lying. A white lie, I don't even know who invented the color. Why can't it be a pink lie? I mean, what is it? Different grades? If it's a blue lie, then it's a more severe lie. If it's a white lie, it's not that bad. I mean, I don't even know who came up with that. A lie is a lie. Even when you exaggerate, that's considered a lie according to halakha. So, I told my wife, I decided to stop lying. And I made myself a practice. I had a little notebook. And every time that I would lie, I would write down 12:15, I said like this and like that. 1:32, I said this and that. And I was honest with myself, because it's very easy to lie and say, no, that's not a lie. And then I would come at the end of the day when I said Kirat Shema Lamita, and I found out that the notebook was pretty full.
Give an example of a lie that's not a real lie, but a lie you lie. Like,
A lie that is not a real lie,
no,
everything is a lie.
Okay, no, a lie that your wife would say, you don't lie, so what would be a lie?
She just meant that I came across as a very honest person. So a lie that one would say is not a lie. You're late for a meeting. Somebody will tell you, why were you late? I'm waiting here for 20 minutes. No, we said we're going to meet at 1:15. No, we said at 1. You know that we said, no, but we said 1:15. You just don't want to say that you were lazy, or you woke up late, or it took you 20 minutes to decide which dress you're going to wear. So you're arguing. We didn't say 1:30, we said 1. That's a lie. You know, even sometimes it's basic things. You want to return something to the store. It was damaged. It wasn't damaged, just say you don't want it. And how many times you come with a receipt? Listen, it was open. No, it wasn't. Just say that you don't want it. So sometimes, and again, I'm giving you basic examples. And you know, you're sitting in a restaurant. Somebody, you get your dish, you eat it. It's disgusting. And you come and say, listen, it's cold. It's not cold. Just say, I don't like it. Can you replace it? I don't like this dish. So again, I can give you now 5,000 examples. You have to be honest with yourself that before you talk, you filter your sentence and you say, is it really the truth what I'm about to say? And you have to make a judgment if it's 100% truth or not. Now again, I know the situation that somebody's going to give you a meal and is going to tell you, no, how's the soup? And you're like, it's disgusting. It's horrible. So what are you going to say? You're going to tell that person it's horrible? So again, sometimes it's better to finish with something quick and not to drag it. Because, yes, sometimes it's embarrassing to say on the spot, listen, I don't like it. Or I don't want to. But if you say, oh, I love it, now every time you're going to go to visit a person, you're getting that soup. But you love it so much. And after 100 times, you're like, I can't stand the soup already. And the person says, a whole 10 years you're telling me you like the soup? So a lie, unfortunately, procreates. You say one lie, it has to develop the second lie. Lies have generations. You cannot say one lie. Once you made the first lie, you already have to think of the backup lie. Because you have to back up the first one. Now what happens is after 3-4 generations, you don't remember what you said. Oh my gosh, what did I tell him? I don't remember what I said. So to start with it's a bad thing. And I made myself this notebook that I would write every time. And I found out that I'm dishonest, let's use a nicer word, dishonest many times. Lying is a harsh word. People say, oh, you're calling me a liar now. So it was very, very important to me to make sure that every word that comes out of my mouth is truth. Because I don't want to lie. I'm made in the image of Hashem. Hashem doesn't lie. Hashem says, this is the truth. This is the reality. I'm sorry you don't like it. That's the reality. Deal with it. And when you make yourself live by the rule that it's only about emet, then you first stop lying to other people. And you also build yourself a reputation. This is an honest person. Now, of course, it has to be done the right way. You're not going to walk in the street and you're going to start telling people, you're ugly, you're horrible, you're disgusting. You're not going to come and say that. Sometimes not saying something is just considered lying. It's just you hold back. But the most important thing is you want to get to a point that you don't lie to yourself. If you allow yourself to lie to everybody, you're going to lie to Hashem, like as if Hashem doesn't know. And mainly you lie to yourself. And that's what you don't want to reach. The place that puts me in this place of impurity, of this tumat met, is that I lie to myself. And this is called that I'm not loyal to myself. And I make up all these ideas in my mind. And that's what I want to prevent. I do not want to get to this point. Because if I lie to myself, I would lose I would lose myself. And so many times you can catch yourself saying, who am I fooling? What am I pretending? Well, I'm fooling myself. What kind of a level do I reach that I have to lie to myself? Who am I fooling? Now outside on the street you behave a certain way, and then you come home and you behave a completely different way. And some people, it's totally fine for them, and some people says, who am I fooling? Well, outside I'm pretending that I'm so religious, and inside in the home I do whatever I want. Who am I fooling? I'm only fooling myself. So I know sometimes hearing harsh words is not the funnest thing, but the point is that I want to refine myself. I want to climb to a much higher level, and I want to resemble my Creator. Hashem tells me, I want you to resemble me. We just now learned in the parasha last week, Kedoshim. Hashem says, Kedoshim to you, be holy, ki kadosh ani. I'm holy. Resemble me. Follow in my footsteps. I don't lie, you don't lie. Now, you know what's the most annoying thing is that usually what you do, it backflashes at you. If you lie all the time, then your kids are going to lie to you. And you tell them, why are you lying to me? I'm your father. You planted the seed. And kids think that they're smarter than you. So they lie to your face and you're like, listen, I was once 8 years old too. I know all the tricks. I know you're lying to me. No. And it just reflects on you. You are basically shining on everything, and it reflects back at you. And it's the most annoying thing that you catch somebody that lies to you. What are you talking about? You told me A. No, I told you B. It can go out of your mind. And that's just a reflection of yourself. So, enough with the tochecha. The point is that I want to reach to a high level. In order for me to reach to a high level, I have to be pure, clean, and emet, truth. As they say in America, the truth will set you free. And the more you practice being loyal to yourself, the higher you can grow. The concept of Pesach is going out of my limitation. It's going into a much higher spiritual level. In Pesach, it happens free. Why? Because it comes from the midah of chesed. It's just given to me. On Pesach Sheni, I have to initiate. I have to put down my foot down. This is where it comes from Gvura. I have to lead Gaber, to overcome my desire to be less loyal to myself. I will wake up in the morning, my Yetzer HaTov will tell me, listen, we'll get up, make it to the minyan. And I will start lying to myself. No, I can make it to the next minyan. No, I can pray at home. I prayed yesterday, I'll just do something quick today. And I'm giving you one example out of many. How many times you're in the kitchen, something fails, you mess something up, and you're like, nobody saw. You put it aside. And at the end of the day, you say, what am I lying to? It's my own kitchen, I'm feeding myself. So in order for me to go into my spiritual freedom is I have to go out of my limitation. Pesach Sheni is the time that I'm able to really take on myself the right decisions when it comes to changes in my purity, in my tahara, purity in my thoughts, purity in my speech, purity in my actions. Some people, their entire life is good, but the thoughts are not pure. All day long, junk going on in the mind. Some people, it's their speech. Some people, I know many people, not too long ago, I sat with somebody, a very religious individual, very learned, very God-fearing person. Somebody said something and he, answered with a very not nice word. And I was like, ooh, where did that come from? And he's like, I don't know. Sometimes our speech is impure. Something falls on you, instead of saying ouch, you will say a not nice word. Why? Say I, or don't say anything. So sometimes our speech is even impure. I want to get to a point that I'm pure. because the reason why I wasn't able to sacrifice the first Korban Pesach, I was impure, for whatever it means. Since we don't sacrifice now the sacrifices of Pesach, but I still want to get to the place of this purity. And the way to do it is to be loyal to myself. I have to think twice before I say something, before I do something, before I think of anything, and to be honest. Is it the right thing to do? Is it the right thing to say? Is it the right action to do? And the concept of this repetition. And in the time of Pesach is a very auspicious time to take these decisions. The decision to take on myself a good decision was called Achlata Tova, is anything that has to do with purity. And mainly to concentrate on the fact that I don't want to be again in that level of this impurity. Now, what did they came out of when they were in Mitzrayim? When they came out of Egypt, they were sunk into idol worship, to Avodah Zarah. And the concept of Pesach is going out of my Avodah Zarah. And I'm also, even though I don't buy to idols, I do things that are considered Avodah Zarah. Idol worship in Hebrew is Avodah Zarah. It doesn't mean that I bow to idols. Rather, it means Avodah Shezara LeYehudi. It's foreign to me. It's not something that it's in my vocabulary. So I constantly fail in Avodah Zarah. I can worship my money, worship my car, worship my iPhone 7, whatever it is. All day long, I'm attached to something. This is a form of idol worship. So Pesach Sheni is the time to annul all that. So it's not stam for whatever reason that our sages, and mainly the Torah comes and says, this is going to be the only holiday that gets a second chance. There's no Sukkot Sheni, there's no Rosh Hashanah Sheni, only Pesach. To emphasize that my entire motion, I will have to go backwards and forth. But that's part of the system. And the way to win it can only be done with Gvura, not with Chesed. Chesed that it's given to me, Gvura I have to initiate something. And mainly Gvura comes from the word to lidgaber, to overcome. The part that I need to be loyal to myself. And Bezrat Hashem should have a beautiful Yom Tov. We don't have to do much. You can eat some matzah, make a meal and eat matzah. Like I told you, some people have the custom that they read a few parts of the Haggadah. And other than that, we just need to focus on the day. It's a very special day. To focus on where do I need to refine myself? What can I take on myself? A certain decision that in 3-4 things in my life, I'm going to add extra purity. If it's a man, then okay, I'm going to start going to the mikveh every day. If it's a woman, okay, I'm going to be more and more cautious when it comes to netilat yadayim, when I go out of the bathroom, or when I touch my hair, or when I touch my shoes, or whatever it is. You add on yourself these little things that add purity, tahara, that to balance it out. And of course, to make the real account in yourself. Where am I not being loyal to myself? Where am I not being loyal to somebody else that I need to maybe come and admit? And to reach to a level that I need to be, I want to be a met. That's when I came to that level. I said, I want to be 100% truth. I don't want to come to a point that late at night, when I have to look at the mirror saying, you're a liar. Why did you lie to that person? Why did you lie to that person? Why did you lie to that person? I don't want to have that in my domain. I don't want to have this impurity in me that I'm not 100% honest. That's my own desire. It's not lying to you or you. It's lying even to myself. Don't lie to it. I rather be, they say in Hebrew, achles. Put it on the table. Sometimes it's not the most comfortable thing to say the truth. Finish with it. Don't drag it too much. Sometimes, saying the truth on the spot, it sets you free. It doesn't get you into this turbulence of lies and what did I say and I don't remember, and then you get caught lying. Ooh, the embarrassment. She lied to me. I don't want to talk to her. Who needs this headache? And in general, this boils down to the same thing. It's purity. It's tahara. It's having this purity in you that I say, I want to be like my Creator. Hashem doesn't lie to me. Hashem doesn't say, listen, if you're going to put tefillin on, I'm going to give you... Hashem says, this is what you're going to do, this is what you're going to get. That's it. No foil sticks, no wish-wash. So that's the level I want to reach. That's going out of my Mitzrayim, that I'm free. Like they say in America, the truth will set you free. I want to be free. I don't want to be owing anybody explanations. Why did you say this? Why did you say that? Why now go follow everything? Better to say it straight to the face, cut it short, and when you live like that, you gain an extra level of purity. That does allow us to go out of our limitations. That I'm able to face everything. I don't have to ignore the phone call when it calls and I see the caller ID. Oh, I don't want to answer him. Why? I have to. I don't remember what I said to the last week. So, Bezrat Hashem should have a beautiful Chag Pesach Sheni. You can light a candle for Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. If you have the time, you can go to his kever. It's very close. It's not a long drive. A very special tzaddik. Yeah, Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, and he's in Tiberia, exactly. And there's a famous story, just to say something in his merit, that his sister-in-law got jailed by the police there, or wherever it was, and he came to the guard to bail her out. And he came with a very large amount, so to do Pidyon Shvuim, to get his sister-in-law, his wife's sister, out. And he came to, so to say, bribe the guard. Now, he told the guard, here's the fine to pay, and here's extra money for you to get her out. So the guard said, listen, I can get in trouble for that. So he says, listen, don't worry. Anytime you're going to get in trouble, or you're about to get in trouble, just say a certain verse and say Tana Meir, mention my name, and you will be fine. Exactly. Ela Rabbi Meir Aneni. And he tried it. And the thing is that this guard said, if I'm going to be caught saying that I released your sister-in-law, they're going to throw me to the dogs. The dogs are going to, that's the punishment. So he says, okay, try it. So they threw a stick or a stone at the dogs, and the dogs started barking and going all crazy, and he said, Elahad, Rabbi Meir Aneni, and the dog stopped. So he's like, oh, the trick worked. So he let his sister-in-law out, and later on the guard got caught. And he was about, he got judged, and they were about to hang him, because he let the prisoner go. And he remembered that verse. So he kept saying the verse, Eloha, the Rabbi Meir Aneni, and they couldn't hang him. The rope got ripped, the thing broke, everything. They couldn't hang him. And the whoever was in charge, they come and tells him, what's going on here? How come we can't kill you? Well, you have some type of witchcraft. What are you doing here? So he says, I'm mentioning a name of a certain Jewish sage. And they wanted to know what was the power of this verse, of this sage. So this is the story, anyways, this is the story in the Gemara. But the Rabbi Meir says, every time that you're going to mention my name in the connection, I mean, this is called Yichud Shem Hashem, because he says Elaha. You know, it says that the Kadosh Baruch Hu does a yichud, a connection on the names of the tzaddikim, but after they're passed away from this world. That the Kadosh Baruch Hu meyached shmo al tzaddik. But that only when the tzaddik leaves the world. And Rabbi Meir did it while he was alive. And Rabbi Meir says, every time you're going to mention my name, you know, we say, Bizchut Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, in the merit. What does it mean in his merit? Not that I'm taking his merit, is that I'm thinking, the merit of thinking how holy he was, that allows me to get my help and my salvation. And up until today, there are many people that they're fanatic. Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, they have a pushka to his fund. It's a big remedy. When you lose something, you put money in the zchut of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. When you lose something, when something bad happens, up until today, some people are fanatic about Rabbi Meir Baal Haness. He was a very special sage. that said in himself, when you need help, you call my name, I will come and help you. So we want to take advantage of this auspicious day. Again, it doesn't matter. There is an opinion that says it's not his Yom of the Hilula, but that doesn't matter. That's the day that we celebrate. And if you can make it out to Tveria, go visit him. If not, then light a candle for the zchut, the merit of Rabbi Meir Baal Haness, and put some money in it. It's very, very powerful. And you can learn maybe something about it, maybe a story. But it's a very auspicious day, even though there's not much that we do. And we don't do a meal, we don't do any certain prayer, but it is an auspicious time to take to consideration and say, where can I make myself a little bit better? Where can I be a little bit more loyal to myself and loyal to my Creator, and add some extra level of emet and purity into my life? Bezrat Hashem, this should lead us to reach to our freedom of the real Pesach. And Bezrat Hashem, if each and every one of us will work a little bit on their midah, of their attribute of emet, then I can guarantee to you this will definitely hasten the Geulah. The redemption should come much faster, as Hashem doesn't like the opposite of truth. Bezrat Hashem, with our little acts, we should see the ultimate truth, and that will reveal the coming of Mashiach, that we will gain the red heifer, that we should be not in the level of Tumat Met anymore. Should happen very, very soon in our day. Have a beautiful, beautiful Pesach Sheni.